So in this pick a card reading by Empress Tarot, I also go by Gabby Turner Tarot, we're going to be looking into the question, who does he like more romantically? Does he like me or some other girl? So you might have someone specific in mind, or it could be another guy if this is someone who's bisexual that you're interested in. But anyway, the question is, who does he like more? Does he like me more, or does he like this other person more? So maybe that's a little bit of a petty question to ask, but I know that it's one that we've all wondered at some point in time. So hopefully this reading will be helpful to those of you who are watching. I'm just burning a little sage. That's the lighter that you hear in the background. So there are three options if you want option number one. That will be the XOXO. Option number 2 will be the elephant. And option number 3 will be this keep calm and trust God box. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed here with reading number 1. So let me just move these other ones out of the way. Okay. So this first stack here will be representing how he feels about you. We've got Wave of Power. Okay, and then the 3 tarot cards I get, these are from the Tarot of the Cat People deck. I've got 8 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, and King of Swords. Okay. And then representing the other person, we get Sisterhood. I get the Magician, 10 of Wands, and 7 of Cups. So, okay. So it seems to me like I feel like he has had intense feelings for you with this Wave of Power card, but it's also almost like this was too overwhelming for him almost emotionally, because you can see in the next tarot card, he's the 8 of Cups here. He's moving away from that. Generally, with the 8 of Cups, this indicates that, something was right for us for a certain period of time, and it's hard for us to move on from that because we knew that that situation or person was right for us for a time, and it's a sorrowful leaving that we have to take. But it seems like at some point this person has decided that being with you or having feelings for you just was no longer good for them. That doesn't mean that they don't care about you. My feeling with this is more so that this person was just overwhelmed by the emotions. Again, with this Wave of Power, let's read what the words say underneath. A surge of power, upswing in energy, exhilarating movement. So it really, knocked their socks off at first, and it definitely did yours as well. I'm reading this also as just your energy, how this situation has made you feel. You've had a lot of strong emotions about this person, but they had to move on. They felt like they needed to move on and try to get into a happier headspace. They felt like they needed to pursue something else in life. They just felt like they needed to move on because this wasn't working for them anymore. It was too much for them emotionally. And so the Wheel of Fortune has led them to becoming the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords is looking back at the whole situation. This person has a better perspective on what you all have experienced. When they look back on the past that you've shared, they look on it in a mature way. They have a more mature perspective on maybe why things didn't work out. I still feel with the King of Swords, this is someone who prefers to have their heart closed off because it's just easier for them to be in their head than it is for them to be in their emotions. But in their head, they are still thinking about you, and they're still trying to, it's almost like they're still trying to figure out what the fuck even happened here, you know? Because they want to understand it because they don't want to repeat the sorrow or the hurtfulness that they experienced. And you may not even be aware of how hurt this caused them to be, but they were very hurt by everything that happened between the two of you. And it's something that still comes to their mind, very strongly so. So what I'm feeling is that right now, they, and I also saw a little moth come in the screen. So if you're into looking into spirit animal messages, you might want to look up the meaning for moth spirit messages. Because so moth might have something particularly to say to those of you who chose number 1. So that's where he is with you. I don't feel like he's necessarily wanting to be with you right now. So that may not be what you hear. If you chose this reading, it's probably not what you wanted to hear. But that's what I'm getting here. And I am always very honest in my readings, whether they're personal readings. Sometimes we don't like what we hear, but but Spirit tries to give us the message that we need. In terms of the other person, let's see, we get sisterhood, friendship, allies, compatible souls, loyalty, joy, and delight. I'm getting that with this other person, if there's a specific person you're thinking of, or maybe you're just wondering in general, is there another person that he likes better? There is someone who he is interested in, and this person feels like a friend. Maybe they've been friends first. It also seems like they just, emotionally, this person is a lot easier for them than the experience they had with you. So a lot of it is just about, maybe the emotions are not quite as overwhelming. So I do get the Magician here. So this is someone who is, unlike here where he's moving away from this card, this person is looking towards this. Now, there are 3 women in this card, so it could even mean that there are multiple other women that he's interested in. And that is sort of supported here by the 7 of Cups, because the 7 of Cups shows someone who has emotional options. So I'm thinking like this is someone who has options. He might be interested in one of the girls here in particular, but with the 7 of Cups, I think he's still trying to figure it out. But overall, it seems like maybe with this person, it's a lot easier for him because he's able to really take his time in making his decision about who he's most interested in. And, but I do also get the 10 of Wands. So I get this person wants to make something happen with someone other than you. They do feel a little bit overwhelmed, though, just trying to make the choice for sure. Like, I don't think this person's going to pursue something right away because they're still trying to figure it out. So I would say the overall message here is he has had strong feelings for you in the past, but those feelings were too intense for him. And he would rather be emotionally detached from you right now. And he does still think about you. And he does still, the past that you shared is still very important to him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be thinking about it so much. But he is interested in trying something with someone new. I think he might even, with the 10 of Wands, be interested in, having a relationship with someone. But he's still trying to figure out exactly who that would be. So I think he has multiple people who are maybe interesting to him, people who are in his circle of friends, or, people who are friendly acquaintances, that sort of thing. Okay, so if you chose number 1, I hope you enjoyed that, even though it may not be exactly what you wanted to hear. Please let me know in the comments if that resonated. And also, if you're interested in seeing future videos, be sure to like and subscribe. Okay. I'm going to move on to number 2, which was the elephant. So the first stack is going to represent how he feels about you. Okay, we have the unseen. Too much is hidden from you. And, okay, and we also have the moon card showing up. So there's a lot of hidden energy here. Okay, so this is how he feels about you. We've got Seven of Wands, the Moon, and the Knight of Pentacles, in addition to the Oracle card, which says the Unseen. So I'm just going to start out first by reading your cards, and then I'm going to go to the cards of the other person who he might be interested in. You might have someone specific in mind. If you do have a specific other woman that he might be interested in, when we look at those cards, those will speak directly to that person. Otherwise, those cards will be more of a general, is there someone else he's interested in? If so, what are his feelings for that person? But first we're going to look at you. And so his feelings for you are very strong. He, with the Moon card, all of these tarot cards are pointing back to you. I feel like there's a lot that he feels he doesn't know about you. And I feel like that is sort of scares him. The Moon card generally is scary. And of course, this card with the Unseen, this is just kind of terrifying. If you were interested in someone who gave off that kind of vibe, like, ooh, this girl is mysterious. She has secrets. You come across as alluring, but also just extremely mysterious. He doesn't know where you're coming from. He doesn't know what your romantic past is, maybe. Maybe he doesn't know if you're involved with someone else, and that's scary to him. Maybe he just senses that you're a very deeply emotional person, and that makes him sort of apprehensive. He feels a little bit on guard with you. I do feel, though, the Knight of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands are both cards of perseverance. So I feel like this is someone whose feelings for you, with the Moon, they might ebb and flow because they're so uncertain about a lot of things. But I feel like their feelings for you are not going to go away anytime soon. The Knight of Pentacles, when the Knight of Pentacles chooses anything, they're there for a long time. So I don't know that they've chosen you per se, but their emotions have chosen you. They're very emotionally invested in you. You're extremely intriguing to them, and they're going to be emotionally connected to you and interested in you for a long time. But in terms of them actually acting on that and bringing this into a relationship or something like that, I don't see them doing that. And if they do, it could be months. It could even be years. The Knight of Pentacles is just a very slow-moving energy. So that, so the good things to take from that are, yes, he's very emotionally invested in you, but he's not going to be making any sudden moves. But at the same time, these emotions run very deep for him, and they're not going to go away anytime soon. So if you're really interested in him, there might be potential in the future, but it's probably going to be pretty far in the future. Now I want to look at how he might be feeling about someone other than you. First, we get divine sensuality, making love, erotica. So already we kind of get the sense that, yeah, there is someone. Okay, so we have the Fool. We have the Chariot. And we have 8 of Swords. So I feel like there is definitely an erotic connection to someone else. He might even be having sex with someone else or just thinking about someone sexually. At the same time, we have the Fool card here, which is pointing away from this woman. So, and then we also with the Chariot. So I feel like, there is this woman here, but it's almost like he does want to pursue something else. There is something that he would maybe rather pursue. But the person he's wanting to pursue, which might be you, you know, because we get up here that he's interested. The Knight of Pentacles does pursue, but they pursue over a vast period of time. But the person they want to pursue really is an Eight of Swords type person. So they're moving away from this person towards this Eight of Swords person. This is someone who is caught up in their head, someone who can be very insecure. The Eight of Swords in romantic readings often indicates someone who is so insecure that they really have a hard time even believing that the person could really like them. I mean, any signs that demonstrate that this person actually likes them, they will find a way to refute those signs. You know, oh, he had sustained eye contact with me. Well, maybe that's just what he does. Or it seemed like he wanted to linger around me at the party. Well, I mean, maybe that doesn't really mean anything. So most people, if they experienced these kind of signs that he's putting off, they would know, yeah, this guy is into me. But I feel like whoever chose number 2, whoever's watching this for number 2, you have a lot of insecurity even believing that he could have feelings for you. And so my feeling from this is, yes, he emotionally, I feel like he is more interested in you, but because his emotions run so deep for you, there's just, from his end also, there's just a lot of fear there about how to move forward. And so he's very reluctant. His feelings are not going to go away anytime soon, but he's also not going to act on them quickly. So you can't really expect him to act on anything quickly with you. And I feel like for him, he's trying to make things easier for him, maybe by being sexually involved with someone else. Or at least thinking about being sexually involved with some other woman. But ultimately, that's not really where he wants to be. He wants to move on from just a sexual connection. He doesn't want to just be having sex. You know, he wants to get to know you better, but you seem so mysterious. This card and this card, I feel, represent you. And there's a lot of, you know, see all of the blackness, the night in the background. There's just so much he feels like is unseen and unknown about you. It's hard for him to move forward. So if you chose number 2, I would say, yeah, he definitely is much more emotionally invested in you. And of these 2, you are definitely the one he would be most committed to being with. But he's not going to make that happen anytime soon. And I feel like he is maybe using sex with someone else in order to sort of ease his heart a little bit. You know, which is something people do sometimes. Unfortunately, I mean, it's just human nature. So if you chose number 2, that's what I'm getting. I hope that was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this reading, be sure to like and subscribe so you can get future readings. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 3rd stack. Okay. So reading number 3. We are asking, who does he like more, me or some other girl? And if you have a specific other girl in mind, then that's who those cards will be about. If not, it's just going to be more generally about, you know, is there someone else that he's interested in? So the first card I get for you, these first cards are about you. This is Time Out. Awareness, contemplation, solitude, time alone. Okay, so already I'm getting that you all are probably either not in contact or for whatever reason there's some kind of separation. But I get the Sun card, the Empress, and the Two of Pentacles. This is looking good so far. It's looking pretty good so far in terms of his feelings. Even though the situation might not feel great so far, his feelings are good. So let's pull out the cards for another person other than you. And I get Justice, the High Priestess, and Two of Wands. Okay. So this This guy seems pretty conflicted. So I'm going to start with you. So we have Time Out, the Sun, the Empress, and Two of Pentacles. It feels like either you all have broken up, or maybe you've never been together, but communication is not happening right now. It also could be that you yourself are sort of choosing to pull yourself away from this energy right now for whatever reason. But in terms of his feelings for you, I get the Sun card, which means you make him very happy. I mean, he feels like the two of you could be extremely happy together. With the Empress, you're just very beautiful. You're alluring. He sees you as someone who could be attractive to a lot of people. I mean, he sees lots of people having an interest in you. You're just that beautiful, creative person. He might even see you as someone who potentially could be a mother to his child, or he could just see you as a motherly, nurturing type person. But he sees you as someone who can be successful in the world as well. This is the feminine version of the Emperor. So you're someone who, whatever you're wanting to achieve in life financially, you're able to achieve that. So you're sort of like, the Empress is kind of the ultimate woman. And the Empress is attainable, unlike the High Priestess, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, finally, we have the Two of Pentacles, and we get two cards for both people, which makes me feel that he's pretty indecisive. I feel like for those of you who chose number 3, if he had to choose between you and someone else, the decision seems pretty balanced right now. So I feel like he's almost equally interested, but maybe for different reasons. With the Two of Pentacles, I feel like he knows that this could be a very permanent, long-term situation if the two of you got together. But he also feels, he also just feels uncertain. He knows that things are in transition right now. And this goes back to the Time Out card. He knows that this is a transition period. So he doesn't know himself what the outcome is going to be with you. And I think he feels like a lot of it right now might be up to you, because you are the one who's pulling out of it with the Time Out card there. You're the one who's either emotionally or in terms of communication, he feels you pulling back right now. So he's interested. He really likes you. He adores you. Actually, you're so beautiful to him. You make him happy, or he feels like there's the potential that the two of you could be really happy together. But I feel like he's not really sure what the outcome would be. So that's kind of where he is with you. Now I want to go into the other woman. So again, it seems like a pretty equal energy. We get dreams, vivid dreaming, dream messages, dream teaching. We get the Justice card, the High Priestess, and the Two of Wands. So the Justice can indicate marriage. So if you chose 3, he could be married to someone else or have some kind of he might be legally bound to someone else in some way. Maybe they even have kids together or something. Justice would also indicate this is a relationship where there are clear rules. If he is in a relationship, this is more of a relationship-oriented card, although the High Priestess usually is not. So maybe he just feels like with this person things would be very balanced and fair. Maybe he feels like this person and he would both want the same things out of a relationship, or they would be able to give each other the same thing. So the High Priestess, though, in terms of feelings, the High Priestess is almost like someone who can't be pinned down. This, like the Empress, it's very similar because the High Priestess a lot of people are very attracted to her, but it's almost like nobody can be with her. Unlike the Empress, I mean, she's pretty attainable in terms of, you know, if you treat her right and do the normal basic courtship ritual, you know, and if you're attractive to her, then yeah, I mean, she's willing to settle down with someone. The High Priestess is much more spiritual in nature. She's so, and sometimes she can almost seem like a platonic love. Like, this is someone I love so deeply, but it's almost like the person comes across as too pure or too out of reach. So whoever this other woman is, I mean, I do think he would like to be with her with the Justice card, and also the Two of Wands shows someone who does see this other person definitely as a potential partner if they're not already involved in some way. I'm going to clarify the dreams because that, well, it could be that just he has a very strong psychic connection with this person. There's a dreamy quality to this person. I'm just going to pull one more oracle card for each of you to kind of better understand what the difference is between the two of you in his eyes. God. Okay, so we have Yamaya, which is grandmother, ocean, primordial, and she has a baby here. Then we have fertility down here. So the two of you are very similar. You know, this could indicate one of two things. For some of you watching, it could mean that there really isn't anyone else he's interested in, because maybe these cards are all about you. Maybe everything here is about you, which makes you a very beautiful, alluring woman, like someone who would be really hard to get, who would be a real catch. Because, you know, the Empress is more attainable in the real world, but she's still hard to catch because she's like the ultimate woman. You know, if this guy sees himself as an emperor, someone who wants to really build something solid in the world and have a solid family and career life, then he's going to be very attracted to an Empress because that's someone who matches his energy. But also there is a deep spiritual, intuitive bond. So for a lot of you watching, I think this indicates actually that there's not anyone else he would rather be with at all. And then for some of you, if you know that there's someone else, then it seems to indicate that the two of you are pretty well matched for him. And for those of you in the second group there, where there's someone pretty well matched, I just want to ask Spirit, what is the message for you? What do you need to understand about this connection? Now, I didn't pull extra cards for the other groups, but this is just a very intriguing reading. So I feel like I need to. So what's Spirit's message to you about this? We get reflections. What you contemplate can actualize. What you contemplate can actualize. Let's pull 3 more tarot cards. What does Spirit need the viewer to know? We get 6 of Wands, the World, and Page of Wands. Okay, so what I'm getting here is that you know, this is kind of a law of attraction thing. If you focus too much on the fact that he might have equal feelings for someone else, then you're really giving your power in this situation. And also, we notice we have a woman who is like, you know, she's a real woman, but she's thinking about this other party that this guy might be interested in. So if you focus too much on the idea that you might have some competition for him, then you're going to manifest that more. So just be mindful of your thoughts. We also get the Six of Swords. So this shows that you really need to do a lot of healing work on yourself. Maybe you could go for like a Reiki session and get your chakras cleared, or you could do some chakra meditations on your own, or, you know, get into some kind of health and well-being, maybe that has a spiritual component, but in some way you really need to focus on healing yourself right now. Whether it's this guy or not, you have tremendous blessings coming your way. Wonderful blessings coming this way. And I feel like, you know, at some point you'll understand this better, because I feel like at some point you are going to get more direct communication from this person. And also, you know, whether you get more communication or honesty from them, I do feel like you need to focus on expressing yourself as well. So that might be through some kind of artistic medium. Maybe you write poetry or songs, or maybe you're a painter or a sculptor. Maybe you like to dance, or it could just be journaling. Maybe you like to craft or make quilts. Maybe you're a knitter. Whatever it is, I feel like Spirit also is really encouraging you right now to embrace all of your artistic abilities in order to fully express yourself. You know, because you did come through as the timeout card. So for you right now, this is really a time of healing and reflecting. You know, do you really want to put all of your energy into someone who is equally focused on some other woman? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But you do need to focus on yourself. That is for sure. Regardless of what he's focused on, you need to focus on yourself. So know that he adores you. Know that. And just feel confident about that. But also love yourself enough to really focus on you. Okay, so those of you who chose number 3, I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say about that, because that was a very intriguing pull. There was so much similarity between those two groups. And again, like I said before, for some of you, that may just mean that you're the only woman for him, and that both pulls were really about you. For some of you, it might mean that there's another woman who really is on equal footing for you. So if you know that there's another woman he might be interested in, then that's probably more likely what this reading is about. If you don't know that there's anyone else, then I think it's more likely that this is just all about how his feelings are for you, and that you really are the only one. But I would just say, you know, don't jump to conclusions. Take the reading with a grain of salt, and you know, let it resonate for you however it will. So thank you again for watching this, and